I am Dima Jamile. I am the Housing and Infrastructure Manager in Tripoli. Objective is to secure tenure for for the families as well. So we actually, that's why in return for the rehabilitation works that we do, we secure tenure for at least 12 months for the families. So it's both actually securing tenures and protecting the families. For us, we divide our works into many stages. First of all, we do the assessment. We assess the vulnerability of the families and we assess the vulnerability of the shelter. And we do bill of quantities to see what the shelter really needs in terms of materials and items and installation. Since we have a lot of refugees living in below shelter standards building, so one of our objectives is to upgrade these shelters into living conditions that will help them gain privacy, that would help them get weatherproofing, protected from the weather conditions. We negotiate with the landlord in terms of what rehabilitation will we do and how it's gonna be as a rent reduction or rent free and all the contract details. Then we move on to the construction period where we supervise the works on site until it's finished, and it is up to our specifications that we specify in the bill of quantities.
At first we go around, look at each camp, we look at each tent, we look what it needs most, and their first need is to have a good floor. We know every year after big storms, a lot of damage happens to tents. So we start looking at the wood, at how the floor, does it need concrete or no, and the edges of the tent. Those are the main things. We rehabilitate wood, like we reinstall wood to have a good foundation for the tent. Also, we do concrete casting for the floor, and we do hollow block casting around the tent to protect it from water entering the tent and snake, and we put mesh around the tent. You know, in the summer, it's very sunny, so the tent needs to be breeze, so they can sit inside of the tent. So by putting mesh all around, one, they can open the tent, and two, they'll be protected from insects and snakes. We're putting a concrete edge over here. It's a 20 centimeter wide by 15 centimeter high. It's to prevent the water from watering the plant to go inside the tent, especially in a flood or when there's a very bad weather. The concrete on top of it, and even though inside there's a block of concrete block. It's a hollow block.
The informal settlement site improvement, you have sites where collective sites where usually families are living in tents or sort of not the proper shelters, and here we upgrade the whole site. So for the informal settlement site upgrade, other than doing pathways and drainage in the site itself, we focused as well inside the tent because we saw a gap that maybe other partners were not addressing, which is the tent itself and the needs inside of it. So where there's a need for flooring, electricity, drainage inside the tent, and also we put blockworks around the tent because when it rains, a site may be flooded, so to prevent the water from seeping into the tent. Also, another activities is shelter kits that we are providing, which are some of them help repair the tents that could be hit from the extreme weather conditions, because sometimes a tent is weak.
تقربنا انه بس الحمد لله نضل عايشين وطيبين ومكيفين وما حد قصر معانا والله ما قصرت، لو ما المساعدات والله احنا ما نقدر، بس الحمد لله المساعدات عاننا بكل شيء، ولو ما هم والله احنا حالتنا سيئة. خلينا بيوتنا وخلينا أراضينا وخلينا كل شيء وهجينا برواحنا والحمد لله.
Like in Lebanon, you don't have one type of camp or shelter. You have different types of shelters. You have camps and you have collective shelters and you have families spread in different apartments. So it's basically, sometimes it's difficult to reach everyone and to help everyone. They are not localized in one specific place. But the advantage is that you have many shelter criterias, and you help them in different ways depending on their needs. So the small shelter units are basically apartments that can handle up less than 6 families, let's say. I always remember when we relocate the families to the SSUs that are like completely finished and they are gonna live in them for 1 year, 1.5 years, and they used to live in like small apartments or small garages or even in tents, and they feel like such a joy and they are so like thankful for the help that we are doing. And this is actually great to me. And this is like gives you like a push to do a better job every time and to let's say help make the intervention even better each time.